right, folks. We have an amazing guest speaker today here who is going to cover up for us our new, well, actually technically not new division, but we've been working on it now for almost a year at this point in time. We effectively have launched it at this point. Is our National Director of Commercial here for Epique Realty, David Elwood.
Hey! Switch this. I got our leadership, and I lost my voice, and I'm still trying to gain it back, and every time we go to an event, it just goes back down. So, you know, when I walked in this room, we went to leadership last week, and we went to Universal Studios. And anybody who's been to Universal Studios, I walked in this thing that does it every time when you go to the Rise of the Resistance, and you see all of those stormtroopers. There's something about that room. If you've never been there, you gotta go do it. But I'm just like in awe. And when I came in this room today, I kind of felt it, but I couldn't figure it out. And hearing and seeing all of you and all the leadership, it's amazing what we have at this company. And it's also amazing that whether it's your first day in the business or you're the OG, right? We have so much to thank each other and also look around at yourself, because you showed up today on a Saturday. It's a nice day. It was snowing and what, 30 degrees last week? You just showed up. We are all the experts in here. And you know, all the other people that are out there complaining about this and talking about their business is not going anywhere, they need in these rooms, right? And so when we go over to the commercial side, I hear it all the time that, well, I'm not real comfortable with it, and I need an experience. And I think most of that is because it's like this Berlin Wall, right? If you're not doing commercial, if you're at your own broker, they say, well, you have to have commercial experience to do commercial. Well, if I'm a baseball player and I go to my coach and say, Coach, let me in, I want to hit a home run, and he says, I'll let you in as soon as you can hit a home run in a game. I'll let you back. It makes no sense, right? So how do you get experience to do it if you don't have the experience to do it? So at Epique, we wanted to change that. We wanted to take the walls down, but we also wanted to have the coaching and the training, and we wanted to have the experienced agents that are out there come and partner with the agents that may not be so comfortable with it, right? And what I wanted to talk today about is, it's not this mysterious thing, right? It's CRE, commercial real estate. It's a 3-letter word. It's simple. It's super simple. It's just as simple as your first day in the business. Your first day in the business, you get your license. You didn't know residential either, but you did, right? You went out and you did it. You didn't know how to write a PA. You didn't know how to go do a showing. You didn't know how to do an open house, but you did. And commercial is the exact same way. It's not this mysterious thing. Unfortunately, the commercial agents and the commercial brokers and even residential brokers try to make it very mysterious. Either it's because they don't want you in it, because they're afraid that you'll do better than them. And I got to tell you, residential agents rock. Because commercial agents, I've been in this world, and I've been in the residential world. Commercial agents basically do 3 or 4 deals and they're happy. You make $200-300 grand a year. You can't get them on a weekend. You can't get them in the evening. Where I see all you guys, you're working around the clock, you know, answering and calling at 10 o'clock at night. It's a different world. And I had this epiphany moment at my previous brokerage, the 3-letter word, I won't, 3-letter company, I won't say it is. We all know. But that's what they did. They set up this Berlin Wall. And they said, you're either commercial or you're residential, period. Pick a side. Why? Why? If we can integrate the tools and technology and what, you know, residential agents are go-getters into the commercial world, you guys will take off. You guys will blow it out of the water. And if you have anybody on your team, if you know of anybody that you're talking to that you want to, you know, we have an Epique room here, right? To bring over, there's nothing preventing them to come over and do it today. So what I wanted to talk about today, I got like 20 minutes to stick with you for 90 days and shove it into 30 minutes here, less than 30 minutes. So what I want to talk about is how we're going to do that. How can you do it? How can I get this leaper? All right. So the opportunity you're missing. You know, I'm not going to read through it, but really what it is they're larger transactions, right? They're more difficult transactions. You know, I used to say a house is a house is a house until it's a condo. So residential agents a lot of times say, I can do all real estate. There's no difference between it. But there really is. But it's very simple. It's just knowing what the different asset classes are, what the difference is. We're going to come over here. So really, to me, what I see the largest difference is a contract's a contract. You have a purchase price, you have a down payment, you have closing date. All of that's kind of the same. It's the details that just digging deep and kind of learning the lingo. But for me, I think the biggest thing of transitioning is here and here. There's no chicken littles involved, right? Because you're dealing with commercial agents that, number one, don't want you in their world, right? They think they're the experts, they think they're the consultants, they think, they're better than residential agents. They're not. But the other thing is the mindset about a client type. So I'm going to screw it here so you guys can see this side. So the mindset of residential, it's emotion, huggy-feely, making friends with the people. I see residential agents, making lifelong friends, and commercial's not really that way. It's all about the nuts and bolts of the numbers. A commercial client typically is, what's my bottom line? They're not going to get upset unless their money's involved, right? If their financial bottom line has changed compared to what they were thinking about, that's the only time it's going to be different. But you're not going to go show a commercial building and there's a deer in the backyard and they go, oh my gosh, I got to own this building like you do a residential. So that's the biggest thing. It's number one, right here, right here. And that goes with us too, right? If we have that mindset that we are consultants versus commodity, that's where you'll take off. So value basis, I'm not going to go through all this because I don't have enough time. But so residential, you're going to use comparable rooms, room count, bathrooms. Does it have a basement? Is there a garage? The necessities of what somebody wants and desires to live in. On a commercial deal, they're going to want to know, what's my bottom line? How much am I going to make? Or is it full or is it not? Can I value add? Is it half empty but I can add tenants and make it work? Let's see. Mostly business owners. Yeah, limits of emotion. Timeline, that's a big thing. Don't give up your residential business. Don't give up your day job, I always say, because that's subsidizing you right now to enter into that world. The commercial deal, typically, I'm talking to somebody as long as you are from beginning to end to close and move your people in, and I haven't even got the person to sign a contract yet. And it's all about relationships, right? If you're somebody that doesn't like to go to coffee, draw a relationship, if you're ready just for the close and you go for the jugular, I always say, don't bring a wedding ring to your first date. You don't do the same thing with a commercial client. You need to create an established relationship. And the biggest thing for that I always tell people is, find out what their current situation is with who they're working with. Most investors already have somebody that they're working with. Why are they working with them? What are they doing for you? What are you looking for? 9 times out of 10, I can guarantee it's somebody who's had a long relationship. If you start questioning about it and say, well, how often do they call you to let you know about your current listings? Come to think, they never, right? They only call me when they have a letter of intent to make an offer. So that's a big advantage that you have, because they've had these relationships that they're dealing with people that are resting on their laurels thinking, I've got this guy, or I've got this lady, or I've got this company. I've dealt with them for 5 years. That's your opportunity to slide in. Timeline, scale, residential scalability is tough. A lot of times it's, compared to commercial, smaller deals. So you got to go 10, 12, 15, 13, whatever the number is compared to a commercial deal. The typical commercial deal is anywhere from, depending on where you live, California, it's 4 million and up, right? Chicago, in this area, it's probably in the 750 to 2 million is your starting point. So less deals. And what ends up happening is, we heard some superstars about, Sylvia talked about systems, right? Using systems to build that while you're still doing your residential. Matt spoke about VAs, arbitrage of time. We have to dig into those a lot of times to be able to make the kind of money that we want to make. We're on the commercial side, not necessarily. Because you're doing deals that you're doing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 deals before you get to that point, because they're typically larger deals. But they do take longer. So, the other difference is on residential, I don't know if you know the stats on this, and that's the other thing I tell people is have your stats down pat. Don't say, well, I've done about this much. This is what I've done year to date. Or if you haven't done it, talk about your team. Talk about people that are in your area. Talk about your sponsor. Talk about your broker. Talk about your brokerage. Find those numbers out, and when you meet with somebody for the first time, say, here's our numbers. Here's what we've closed. Here's what we have listed. Here's our average close to sale. Use those numbers. You have a team. Look around this room. We're all your team. If you're with Epique, if you're not with Epique, hopefully you do come, but we are all your team. You don't have to have a team to reference your team. That's the great part about the company that we have. But residential, 90% of the transactions in the United States, from a realtor basis who closed it, was owner occupied. I don't know if you knew that. So only 10% of the realtor deals were not owner occupied. Why is that? Because of residential, you're bypassed on investment deals. They're going behind you, they're dealing with an investment company, their auctions, whatever it may be, when it comes to investors, for the most part. But on, I don't know where it's at on the slide, it's way down. On commercial deals, it's the other way around. 90% of the deals that are closed are investor. Very rarely is an owner occupied. Mindset, we spoke about it, value basis, residential's comparable sales, room count, bath count per door, commercials using NOI, cap rates, things like that. They're using the net operating income. They're using what is my rate of return. So if I close on this deal, what is the percentage of time that it'll take me to get 10%, 7%, whatever it may be. Scale, I'm going to skip past this. It's the same thing. So what we're going to talk about is a 90-day roadmap. What do we do, right? How can you get in, and what can you start doing? And we're going to drop and get rid of that whole I have to do commercial and have experience to say I'm a commercial agent. Do it today. Nothing's stopping you. Partner with somebody who is. If it's not in your area that you're at Epique and you don't have somebody locally, go to another company. CRE, NAI, whoever it may be. There's a way to do it. You talk to them and say, hey, let me go turn keys for you. They don't want to go to shopping centers and run all over town to let somebody in the door, typically. They're focused on these big, giant, high-rise buildings that they're going to make millions on. Little leases, they don't want to deal with. And they usually bring juniors in that are, I call them teachers. They're who's going to go to the door and let somebody in, let them look at the shop, and then go on. Offer to do that. Offer to be that person for them. It's okay that you're another company. They would love that. Tell them what you're going to do. I'm going to help you advertise. I'm going to help you do this. We're going to co-op a listing. We're at a great company. We allow that. We can do a listing with another company and co-op it. That's done a lot on commercial. So the first thing is your mindset. Think of partnership, asset classes, focus. We spoke about ChatGPT. We spoke about AI. Fantastic. If you want to know what are the top 10 things I need to do in the next 90 days, it'll probably tell you a lot of this anyway. And it'll give you a list. Create it, follow it, just like Sylvia was talking about. So, that's the first thing, is figure out your mindset. The other thing is figure out what do you want to focus on, right? Again, a house is a house is a house until it's a condo. So some people focus on investors, some people focus on flips, first-time home buyers, whatever it may be. Commercials, similar but different. Do I want to focus on industrial property? Do I want to focus on owner-occupied? Do I want to focus on tenants? What is it I want to focus on? Because the thing about commercial is, even today, I own my own brokerage. I had the largest business brokerage in the state. I had a brokerage in Florida and Michigan, and opened in Ohio. But I had a team that if I got a hotel, I might have maybe 500 or so people that either attorneys, CPAs, or the investors that do hotels. I'll partner with them. I would rather tap into their database and they send it out to 300,000 people that they have in their database, because that's all they do is hotels, to get it out to them. I may make half, but part of something is better than all of nothing. Because if I took that hotel, I'm going to send it, put it on CoStar, I'm going to put it in the listings, I'm going to try to advertise it, but what's going to end up happening is it's not going to get to where it needs to go, right? When you list a house, everybody goes to the MLS. That's the place they go, right? Or Realtor.com or whatever. It's ancillary services. But in commercial, they're relying on their agent to find a new deal. Most investors aren't actively out there looking. They're calling Dave Elwood or whoever and saying, find me a deal, and then they walk away and go along with their life. And they expect me to bring this opportunity to them. So that's the best thing, is partner with somebody who has that database. Yeah, you're going to give up some of your income, but the thing is you're going to get it, right? We have to close to make money. So part of something is always better than all of them. So the other thing, and I'm going to dig a little deeper. So these are the phases that we're going to go through real quick. Yes, a lot of this. And by the way, I have this for everybody. If you go to my Facebook or my Instagram, either one. Instagram is Instagram /David Elwood, it's Epique David Elwood. Facebook is /J David Elwood. message me in there, I'll send you a copy of this. So rebranding yourself, okay? This is the phase one that I just spoke about. Change your Facebook, change your Instagram, change your LinkedIn. Put that you do commercial. Get your business cards and put at the top or the bottom, wherever, commercial, or residential, commercial, multifamily, whatever it may be. Have them front and back, and instead of saying, I like referrals, everybody knows you like referrals. You don't need to spend the money putting it on the business card. Put a skyline with your name or something, right? And then when they flip it over, it's there. Put it on the backdrop of your Facebook. Maybe split it in half. Have a luxury house or a house on one side, and or your information, and on the other side have a skyline. You'll have that appearance that you already arrived. You'll have that appearance you're already there. So rebranding is a big thing. And then creating content. Begin posting commercial content. We heard about it, I don't know if he's still here, but we heard about LinkedIn, what was it? It was LinkedIn, I'm going to do this actually. Alan Sturt, LinkedIn newsletter. Start putting in newsletter, Google, AI, whatever, maybe come up with a newsletter. Co-brand a newsletter. Because a lot of commercial agents don't have time to do it, or they're just lazy, they don't want to do it. But tell them, can we co-brand a letter every week, and I want to put both of our names on it? They'll go, why is this lady trying to do this with me, right? But we're all at an agent attraction company. They'll wonder why you're doing it, because we all help each other. Right? That's what we do. So the other thing is, figure out what you're going to put out. Ask AI. Ask chat. Hey, I want to do an article. I don't really know much about commercial. What's a simple article I can put out there? Maybe what is a capital? And maybe you're going to help other agents, but in the meantime, you have a commercial agent that sees you, you have an investor that sees you, somebody who wants to get into investments, maybe somebody who's always buying houses, and they keep saying, I need to get into commercial, I want to buy some commercial buildings. So become the authority, whether you're the authority or not. It goes back to your first day of real estate. You were not the authority in residential, but you were out there telling everybody. You told your family, your friends, your cousins, people you went to work with. Heck, you're going through your business cards like nothing. I had somebody that said, oh yeah, I gave it to the lady at the grocery store who was bagging my stuff. Awesome. Same thing with commercial. Everybody should have that visual appearance that they are commercial. That's how you get in. No different than when you start in the business. So, we spoke about partnering. That's a big thing. In our world in the commercial, we always partner. Very rarely do we not partner. And it's not just because we're so busy we need somebody else to do it. It's because that person may be the expert. Maybe you want to focus on retail, right? Because you get along, you like retail, and you get something that's an industrial property. Instead of trying to tackle that, you partner with somebody and bring it in. And then you become the expert in a different asset class. Maybe it's multifamily. So when that industrial commercial agent has a multifamily deal, they'll try to bring you in. It goes both ways. So study the language, NOI, cap rate, triple net leases, vacancy, credit loss, language that defines you. And you can go to chat. What are the top 20 terms that I need to know in commercial real estate? I'm starting today. And can you give me a brief description of each? Guarantee it's out there, right? So reframe your mindset. We spoke about it. No chicken littles allowed. I get calls from agents that they're so excited. A customer wants, $1 million deal, and they're calling me 14 times in 2 hours. There's just this mentality, and even I struggle with it, that you're the person I'm not calling back. Because you're going to be right? You're the one I'm not going to call, because you're going to call me every day. Did they take my offer? Did they? And if I get an offer, they're going to say I got 3 hours to respond. It's just a different mindset. So commercial, take their time. I get calls all the time. Hey, I've been calling this guy for like 2 weeks, and he'll call me back. So number one, what did you say when you called? I said I'm Mary Jane, the realtor at Epique. They said, kiss of death right there. They do not want to be called realtors. Right? Most of them are. They're not even our members. Another little thing is, let's say you get your first deal. You got a client, and they're having you look for a building. And you call on it because you've seen it on LoopNet. And they start talking to you, and you start negotiating it, and you go through it. Come to find out, they lost their listing a year ago. They can still keep it on LoopNet. They can keep it anywhere. They don't have it on our rules. They don't have ethics rules, right? If you got a client that you write an LOI on, and it's got your client's a letter of intent, that's how we work instead of writing an offer, and it's got your client's info on it, you're going to call your client directly. Hey, I want to work with Joe. Oh, I met him a couple weeks ago. Well, I tell you what, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I'd like to do business with you. That client will skip away from you because they don't have ethics to contend with. They're non-NAR members, and they will do it. Not all of them, but many of them. So, you're planting your flag. This is what you're doing. You're saying, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it today. No more dabbling. There's a lot of part-timers, as we know, in our industry. I run into people all the time. I'm in a restaurant. We're kind of talking. My server over here, she goes, oh, I'm a realtor. I said, you mean you got a license? Because you're a server. I don't mean to be rude, but we are professional real estate agents. You're a server, right? So that's sort of the attitude on the commercial side. Commercial, everybody's full-time. This is their gig. There's no side gigs. You don't see very many commercial agents trying to sell a system or trying to sell you VAs or any of that because it's their full-time gig. It's a different mentality. So, phase 2 action plan. What are we going to do? Here's something that's pretty cool. Start looking at commercial signs, right? Start looking at commercial signs when you're driving around. Take a different route everywhere you go. And this is good for residential too. Like I used to be like that horse with the blinders, just going the same way every day, back and forth to work, to my office, to get the kids, whatever it may be, right? Try different routes. I usually go down this highway, now I'm going to go that way. Look around for signs, because once you get your listing, you're going to want to know, what is my sign going to look like? I've seen signs on 55-mile-an-hour roads. You can't read anything because it's some guy's big face and the phone number is like that big. It's a 55-mile-an-hour road, right? I've seen residential signs swinging in the wind on a highway. It's different. It's different. So look at signs, but something that, if you got kids, if you got a partner, make a game out of it. Say, hey, I'll take you to the movies if you can get me 20 commercial signs that look like they're falling apart. I tell everybody, we're in an area that has wells, and these signs are all rusty from being up all the time. Or we'll take a picture of it because you can't even read it. It's so faded. The sign's been up forever. Okay. It's been up forever. So make a game out of it. Tour properties. Ask an agent to go with them. Shadow. Use data and tool. Leverage LoopNet, Crexy, Reonomy, Moody's. Start your outreach. Oh, I see what's going on. It's only going to happen. Publish weekly content, notify your sphere, let everybody know you do commercial. Leverage residential contacts, build your referral network, and maintain that rhythm. Don't give up on it. It takes a while. The other thing is attend events. There's local CCIM, the local commercial chapters. They have events all the time. They're free to members, but it's like $100, $50 for somebody who may not be. Attend them. Rub elbows. Hear the lingo. Commissions and fees and earnings, know your commissions. It's totally different. I had somebody that did a lease that said, I want 1/2 of your first month's rent. Because that's what they do on residential. And I said, that's all you want? Because really our commission is going to be 3% of the total amount of the lease for the 5 years. They were going to lose out almost $25,000 because they didn't know that part. That's where a partnership comes in. So due diligence, that's the other thing. Knowing the terms, due diligence takes longer. We do not say inspection periods because part of your deal to close is making sure the framework is there for the correct zoning, the correct use, all of that. And don't ask the listing agent, does it work for your client's use? It's up to you to figure that out. They'll never tell you. And if they do tell you, it may not be, and then you're on the hook for your client for saying yes, it works. So really going it alone is the biggest thing. That's what I just focus on here is partnership, 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 partnership. I would rather miss all the mistakes to fast track to 100 versus try to do it alone and learn my own way through. Yeah, share your journey. It's okay to say you don't know. It's okay to go into your Facebook and say, hey, here's my first deal. I'm doing my first walkthrough. It's okay to do a journey like that. And then, 90-day action checklist. We will share this again, so I'm not going to go read through it, but in 90 days, you should be able to go through this. But the other thing is, every Thursday, we have the CRE Power Up Live. Different coaching, different training. We have commercial experts. We've got segments on what is triple net, what is the leases, how to do an LOI, how to write an LOI, what not to do, what's the mistakes versus what is a benefit, commercial versus residential, or vice versa. Because I've had commercial that tries to do residential and says fail. So at the end of the 90 days, if you're not where you want to be, joining in on that CRE Power Up, make sure you're going. Let's share your journey. You can reach out to me. Reach out to one of your area leaders if you're at Epique. Reach out to your broker. Share your journey. Share your struggles. The biggest thing is, don't be afraid to go after commercial. Just like your first day in the business, you didn't know how to do an open house. You didn't know how to write a contract, but you figured it out and you made your way through it. Don't be afraid to tackle commercial. It's just as simple as residential. It's just different. And that's it. I appreciate it.